This is why the Dearmouring is so potent, is because there is this allowance to express, allowance to be human, to express the color of humanity, like the multicolor and rainbow of all the emotions, all the dynamics, you know. What?
Getting wild, like your eyes are rolling and you're
Yeah, I'm just really, yeah.
for example, when we started the training, I feel that we started from a place of we wanted to create. Actually, you and me, Diane, I remember sitting in your sofa in Brighton, and we wanted to create a setting for men to open up. So I was like all in, I was all about making the masculine feeling safe in my sessions. And we started to like talk about how to create a space where the masculine is really invited into vulnerability. And then we created this, our first kind of workshop together in Finland, and we charged like 690 euros for a whole week. Something, but we had kind of a full house. I think we were 26 or 30, or I can't remember. It was our first gig together, and then kind of from there, I think like we started with the training, which was aiming to create responsible practitioners. But I mean, if I compare, we had like the first 8 days in Ibiza, and yeah, and people had an amazing time. I mean, we did a really good job, I remember. But I'm just looking from that first training until now, what is it, 15 or 16th training coming up? The amount of transformation that had happened, I mean, both in us, like I just see from that time we were in Finland together, and the different teacher I am today. You know, the different space that I hold, and you, and you know how we found our way together, and how amazing, you know, the because of we have done so much our deeper work, the space that we hold today in the training, which is kind of where my point is, how the space that we hold really provides radical transformation, you know. And actually this is what I think I almost love it the most, like to process people into their truth. Yeah, like you said, Matt, like yeah, people start to project and kick and spit and complain and blah, 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 blah. And it's actually true, because we hold the space, so all that shit can bubble up, and people do project, people do kind of, I mean, it's nasty sometimes, but to find this art form where we have learned, or where I have learned, I speak for myself, where I have learned to kind of find the core of that and reflect it back into like power and potential in people instead.
Mhm.
And I find that is really like such an essence of the training that we do. And then we have all these methods and the trainings and the systems and the God knows what, but the essence is all the time like empowerment and power, potential, truth, authenticity, like, and nothing goes untouched if they want to. Yeah. And also sometimes if they don't want to, they gets touched upon anyway. So for me, that is just a rich feeling. It's like a slow cook, you know. We had like this wok in the beginning, and now it's like it has an entity and a juice. Yeah, it's a very rich flavor to it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Over or after all these years, so doing that, what is your biggest challenge in the training going through this 10 days? What is it? Anything you struggle with, what you feel kind of just like, yeah, this is where my de-armoring is still happening.
Mm. I mean, I see it as different cycles depending on where I am in my life. So I mean, a big struggle have been the nagging and immaturity between me and Dion sometimes, because it created so much distortion in many ways. Other times it was that I didn't trust my own capabilities. I shied away and I didn't deliver because I was so afraid of failing or fucking up. So I was hiding, and I really hurt myself through that. Nowadays can be that we are three strong personalities that kind of see things in a different way. Sometimes that becomes like one want to pull in this direction, somebody want to pull it in that direction, and I definitely want to pull in another direction. and the dance of that I can find challenging sometimes. Because I see I want to do it in a specific way that I think would be more supportive for the group. That's my reality, just like you have your reality. Other than that, I actually don't feel it's so challenging anymore. Like if we went into the last training, I mean, it's like we know what to do, we know how to do it, and we're just getting deeper and better, all of us. Or I can speak for myself again. So for me, it feels like I feel secure in the space. Yeah, I feel secure. And that is wonderful. Yeah. What about you?
What is my biggest challenge?
Yeah.
I think my biggest challenge is that doing this training over 10 days, that I have the intention to give myself fully in, and I still have this behavior. I just want to give everything and want to give it all, and sometimes I just actually go over my limit, what I have, and for example, even in the last training was just amazing. I just get sick, and then so my body really says like, hey, just like, whoa, just slow a little bit more down here. And how my body feels after the 10 days. So the decompression this is the biggest challenge. I know the week afterwards is just like kind of really, really self-love, self-care, and shrinking back into my normal self. It's the biggest, probably the physical impact of 10 days of training on my body. That's the biggest one.
Dejan.
Yeah, honestly, as you're talking, I don't actually have any challenges apart from working with you, Sana. That's a challenge. But even this is like interesting. As you were talking, I was kind of retrospecting when we started and how was our relationship and how did that reflect in the business and how did we actually develop from that point. So I can see a huge. Actually, this is to the testament of Dearmouring that actually works in practice, because I've personally gone through so many waves of Dearmouring over the last 8-9 years that the school exists, that I'm completely different. I'm totally different in relating to you, in relating to the business, in relating to the whole world. So I can really say with a hand on my heart that Dearmouring works. It's quite amazing that we actually, because we had so many big waves and the school almost fell apart. Actually, or it did fall apart at some point. And then we kind of regrouped and Dearmoured more and kind of refocused again. So for me, this is really, when I look at over the last 8-9 years, this is the biggest, if you like, undertaking that I've taken in my life so far. Holding the point of the training is important and what we do with people is important. And then we just had to find a way of working through our own personal shit and ideas and ego and whatever. And so that was actually challenging. But then somehow last year that it's still, now it's in morphing again, but now it's softer. This is what I mean. Before it was like you said, it was harsh and like doof, tras, boom. And now it's really kind of almost like this, changes are happening, but we are as a team much more matured, much more able to deliver ourselves and hold ourselves in line with why we're doing it and what we're doing, rather than how I want it and how you want it and how Matt wants it, So for me, this is like well done as a team effort to actually stick with it and grow through those challenges and times where it really looked like the whole thing is going to go to shit. So looking at that, and then looking at what people say at the end of trainings, especially last one, I mean, that was just wow. such a deep, amazing space we created. And it was us three. I mean, the group as well, but we were the driving engine, if you like. And I feel the reason it's like that is because we developed this really merciless attitude with each other for the brutal honesty, truth, and integrity with each other. Nothing gets untouched, nothing gets overlooked, nothing, if one of us is even a little bit off and a little bit in ego, the others are like, hey, what's going on? And I think this is really, for me, this is where over the last year, it's where Dearmouring grew from like a technique into a lifestyle. It's really now, I think all three of us are really set, at least I am, deep understanding of this is actually way of life. This is how we can, and we're proving it in daily as a team, to actually deal with, apply the Dearmouring techniques to our lives and continually, ongoingly transform, transmute, and come back to what is important, the heart and the bigger picture. So for me, this is really amazing to witness and to, because so many times over this last, what God knows years, I thought, wow, this is just gonna go to crap, you know. So sitting here today and planning another training now in a few weeks, it's wow. I'm really wowed. And also observing you and you, Matt. Okay, Matt, you're a little bit like you've with us over the last 3 or so years, but even there, I can see how well you kind of amalgamated into a team, and basically us three are one. And that is very special to me. It's special to be part of this team.
I had a picture when you spoke, Sana, about we all wanted differently, and we just wanted to pull our own kind of intention in a certain direction. And when we all do that by taking care of each other, it's just like it creates a Mercedes star. It's like, oh, okay.
We're driving a Merc.
I want to speak into one thing, just what you mentioned there, Diane, which I actually love so much about this threesome. And especially, I mean, I have it with both of you actually, because there is this, I mean, we have, because we have the training together, like it is like our baby, you know, so we do it, we overcome. I mean, we have that thing gluing us together, so it makes us like overcome, like we just have to overcome. And you know, countless of fights that we have, and then it's like after a minute we just like we clear. There is no like holding on to or being grumpy or shutting the other one out. And of course there are residues sometimes, but this radical shifts that we are both capable of, that I love, you know. And I can see it requires a very specific persona or personalities in order to create that, because many people cannot handle that. Like I know, for example, I can be very direct and sometimes I can sound harsh, but I'm just being honest. And I know that many people can feel hurt or intimidated by that. Well, I just want to be honest. Like I just want to be honest. In my world, there is no black and white. There is no like, there is just the desire for honesty and truth. Like it's really the core. And I feel with you that we can have that on a level that sometimes is a bit brutal, but at the same time that we shift it, there's no hanging on to. And I
you know, as you speak, I don't really think it's to do with type of people. I think it's actually skillfully applying the techniques and knowledge that we have. Because at least in my case, dealing with you, is actually ongoingly applying the stuff that I teach to myself. So whenever we have a like, then I go in front of the mirror and I say, okay, Dan, so what do I need to let go as my access to peaceful relationship with Sana? So I think it's the teaching that we actually stick to applying rather than being kind of righteous in a, which is actually bringing me back to the same point that I said, that this is what I mean about well done us for creating a system that actually works, because we're living it. So
this is why it's so deep in the training, because this is the world I want to see, you know, and this is why I think people like there's so much shit coming up in the space, because there is a welcoming of all of it. Yeah. And I just want to wrap that up also with you, Matt. I feel that I have this like just such a brutal acceptance between us. There is like nothing I can say and feel judged, almost. Like we have so much honesty, and on so many levels that can be so vulnerable for other people to share. And I just know there is like a giggle behind that. I'm sharing something like, "Ugh, you know what?" And you're like, and it's just acceptance, you know? And for me, that is like, why would we want anything else? Like, why don't we want to come from love and support and honesty and allow this whole spectra of the human mind to pop up, you know? And we just like know that, okay, this is just a fragment of mind. Like, so what? Under that is something else, you know? So for me, that is like incredibly valuable and actually rare, because even if it's not, yeah, and even if it doesn't require a certain persona, it still requires the courage,
Absolutely.
the willingness to not go into being offended, or the daring of speaking up, and the constant choice of showing up. This is what I feel like. Okay, I can feel a passion around coming up there, but yeah, the constant choice. Like, I'm choosing to show up. I choose to show up. I choose something that bigger than myself. I choose like the transformational fire that I love that we use for the circle. Like, I choose to offer this because it creates more freedom for me. Ah, I love that.
I mean, you touched on something when you said that this is like creating a life that we want to live in. And I just like at every training, I really look at the group and I talk to God. I just say like, look, this is what we could be living on the earth as people. That we know how there is no reason to have the war and to have it's just really no reason. We could today with the technology, and the technology sounds really cold, but with the understanding and the wisdom that we have, we can create peace on earth like this. All it requires is, like you say, Sanna, everybody to grow up, become radically honest, and just up for transformation, up for transformation, up for transformation. Stop projecting, stop being a child, stop pretending like, yeah. Look in the mirror and be real. So this is really what drives me even more recently. Over the last year, really, this is where the shift happened, where it went from technique into a lifestyle. Now I'm really looking at it, and now we have the word Dearmouring free in Europe, so we don't have to hide anymore, and it's like legally we're like, poof, we can go big. And I really am now seeing this massive expansion of Dearmouring, at least in Europe, because we've kind of proven it that it works, and I see no reason why all these millions of people shouldn't do it. Just like adopt the way of being to continually keep dealing with our ego, keep transforming it, keep looking at it constructively and lovingly, and keep moving through, rather than keep blocking and fighting and whatnot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. When we drove yesterday to the training, Sana, you and I had this conversation about that the idea of war is so outrated. It's so pointless. It's so useless when you don't need to have this protection and defensiveness and just like this armor, this shield, just like to protect your little kind of
literally armor, you know.
Yeah.
It's just you don't war. It's just useless at this
Completely.
point.
Okay, that is even possible. Like this exists in 2024 for me is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
I did the armoring. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to just go on one point about that. What Deanne said. I had a call today with people who were interested in the training, and they were asking me, so can you give me a frame of what we're doing, the kind of the syllabus and the thing of the training? Said just like, yeah, you know, we have, of course, we have a kind of a program. You know, we have the morning things about TRE or breathing, and then we have the processing circle, and then we have theory, and then we just show you points, and then we have a lot of practice, and then we have evening kind of the merging thing. But you know, this is just the frame. What makes the training is you and what you are coming with. So we can be the best teacher in the world. It doesn't really mean anything, because we have to be adaptable to that what people bring. So you are the training, and we are holding the frame, the circle for you to grow wherever you want to grow to, and it depends on the intention that you bring.
Yeah.
That's a very good way of saying it.
Yeah, that was really clicking for them. It's just like, okay, yeah, okay. And then kind of, so they asked me as well this question. So what is the idea of the armoring? And I said, just, armor is an important thing when you need it. And it's a great a development of the nervous system of survive. But, if you want to be intimate or vulnerable or in connection and proximity, you need to have the choice to be not in armor, to not be in protection. And that's your choice doing it. And it was really sweet how they responded to that. So, so I want to share that.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I can't remember who was talked about that, but seeing armor as identity, which really what it is. Like it's just our identity in
attachment,
become physical form, and through beliefs and whatever I thought about my body, whatever I got exposed for and protected myself to. So it's like identity. Like how can I change my identity? If it was created, I can recreate, uncreate.
This is an interesting point when you say that, because my feeling was specifically in the last training, the kind of the sense, of course, we all have our own kind of individual stories running on a certain degree, but the feeling of unity and oneness was really present in this field. So there was very little kind of fighting and ego and nagging and stuff going on. And I had somebody else, after the training, we were all so euphoric and just so, life is just like, whoa, we can just make it. And I just made this video, and then somebody was actually making a comment on my YouTube video. This is how a cult starts.
Yeah.
It's not the best cult then. Like
if this is a cult, I'm up for it.
Yeah. Like everybody have free of choice. They can come and go as they wish, and as long as they're true to themselves, they're in.
I would maybe say this is the start of a culture, of a new culture.
Of a new culture. Exactly. Totally, honestly, utterly.
Interesting.
I mean, for me, that is the most fun, is the reprogramming on people's mindsets and behaviors. That is for me the gold. And what you say, Matt, like it really becomes what people come in with. Like the last training in Spain obviously became something else, but I cannot not work with that what is.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be that what is. Like it cannot like pretend like that is not there. It's impossible. It's like, okay, this is present. It's just like deal with it. Let's see what comes up. And people, if people come with expectations that they will have to learn this, which I can get, but they don't get that, but they get something else. And what about the flexibility then? Like just that is Dearmouring. Like how flexible can I become in seeing the gift that I get instead? So that is, I mean, it's like when I speak about that, I would rather have just transformational spaces with people coming in. And it's like somebody's just talking, and then we just play with the field. I mean, for me, that is like a no method would be the best thing for me, I think.
But it's not a no method because there is still kind of reason to this madness, and there is a method to this madness. But it's just way of understanding, way of looking at life that says we can deal with anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like literally anything can happen, we can deal with it.
Yeah.
This is really the richness of this style, is that absolutely anything that can happen in a space, there is a way of and bringing it to alignment. There is nothing that cannot be dealt with, provided that people are honest and up for looking at the mirror.
Yeah. And also I must credit us teachers, because sometimes I can feel for myself, because I cannot not do that. I cannot not empower people. Like I have to go to the source to empower them. It's not about me, but sometimes it feels so fucking like can you say thankless in English, right? Thankless, like not like I feel, because I do so much with so good intention, and when the ego gets stuck in their little small self, it still projects something else out. So it requires, I mean, I give myself credit actually, and I give you credit for being able to hold that space, because not everybody can hold that space and take those projections and take those comments and take God knows what comes up.
No, but this is what I meant, like credit to us for doing the work for the last 8-9 years.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I mean, because we're living proof that stuff works.
Yeah.
Because we can hold more and more and more and react less and less and less.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. It's like, actually, I can see it through pretty much every training. It's like clunk, 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 clunk. You know, the way we opening and ability to be with more and more stuff. You know.
That reminds me to that training that we had in Greece, where this 2 times 2 meter wardrobe strong man stands in front of me, just like, I'm so angry. Put all this anger on me, and I'm sitting there just like, okay. Okay. Enjoy, be angry.
Yeah, there are some moments.
I was just asking myself, kind of, when we're just talking about Dearmouring as a, of course there are the skills and the technique and the points, and of course people learn a lot and getting the manual and all that. But I was just asking myself specifically what makes the difference to a kind of mental, emotional transformation process, is that we including the body and we including sexuality, but in a very conscious way, how we engage with people, that this is not a big orgy or something. This is not a big kind of, we are just all love and light, spiritual, woo-woo, shamanic blur. It's just like, I like as well the structure that we bring in, and the what you said, Sana, was working with what is from an livable experience. It's just, this is attainable. It's you can touch it and bring it in your life and use it.
Oh, totally. I mean, both hands-on and mentally, and everything for sure.
Yeah.
I was recently, I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and we were talking about the training, and I was describing the energy that we create, not the energy, but like the space. Basically, it's totally politically incorrect.
Fucking hell.
It's super rude. I mean, it's just raw. And the reason for that is because those political correctness and a right way and the whole gender conversation, all of it, Me Too, everything, like the whole political correctness is actually structures that keep us from being real, structures that keep us from being individual, self-governing entities. And so this is an interesting one, because that attracts quite a lot of judgment, and I'm like, okay, bring it in a space, come on. Because this is another thing to the armor. This is another conversation to have and to actually go through. So I'm like having fun with it.
Yeah, but I'm just laughing because I see these little moments of when energy is coming through, and you're just like, fuck, I cannot say this. I'm not allowed to. Are you not saying this? It's like, it's so politically incorrect, and it's like, but I have to. It's like, and if somebody would see it from the outside, we would get sued. It's so politically incorrect, like incredibly. It's just
amazing.
Wrong. Like, but yeah, but I mean. But the thing is also, I love to hold point for that. I don't want to be fucking politically correct. It's like, even on my website, it's like my values, like there's no political correctness allowed in my company.
You say it. Cool. I should say the same on mine, actually.
Because I mean, this is like, if we want to hold point for transformation, we cannot be around in the level of where society is created. I mean, this is bullshit. It's not going to happen, It's so wrong. It feels so wrong sometimes.
That's a great thing, just like as role models, whatever that means. It's just like being honest. It's we don't want as well people to be politically correct in the ways. We want them to be raw and honest and real and authentic. And this is what we do. It's just like, no, it's just like, this is not us and the group. It's just like, it's just, we are just, it's just like, there's no, of course we hold that space and we just like create the frame and the container, but just like, you have the same fucking rights to speak the truth like we have, and just like feel inspired and just do it because you have the choice here.
But this is the point, because you have the choice here. Because in a normal life, like office work and like normal life, people have no choice. Because if they're politically incorrect at work, they get sacked. If they're politically incorrect on the street, police comes and arrests them. But like, so this is where it brings me back to what I was saying, that I can really see the society where everybody wakes up, realizes that we're being manipulated and shushed down, and basically we are being demanded from, we are demanding ourselves as a society to behave like children. We disallow ourselves privilege of being a grown-up, responsible adult. That responsible is the key word. Able to respond. And so I really see the society where people like popcorn, they just start waking up and it's like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, what political correctness? Of course, but just fuck off. Just like, shut up. I'm offended. Please be offended.
Exactly.
Does that work for you? How does it feel?
What? Yeah.
Grow up. Like, go and ask people in Gaza, do they feel offended? How do they feel? I mean, like, get real. Like, really get real. And so
and then putting the energy in there is just like, is there anything we can do to make you more offended?
Because you want to lift heavier weights in a spiritual gym, how offended can we make you? I love it.
If you're sitting on something and you're not capable of getting that out, we will.
Exactly, just like that. So funny to read.
I mean, the thing is, like, for people listening, I don't want this to sound like
with so much love.
Yeah, but really, it's enough. Like, it really is enough of this pretending that we cannot. The main thing when I see basically ego behavior is ego cannot be with being wrong. It doesn't like to be wrong. Everybody wants to be right. And everybody wants to be protected, and everybody wants to be special. And nobody wants to take responsibility for the emotional reactions and for the stuff that comes out of them. Everybody feels right to spew the anger, spew the belief systems on everybody else. And it's like, why? Where did you get the idea that it's okay for you to poison everybody else with your feelings and emotions? Like, grow the fuck up and start owning your reaction. Start owning everything that comes out of your mouth and your body. Like, you have no right. You can feel offended, but keep it to yourself. Be offended and go home and feel offended. And then spend a life offended. That's okay with me. But don't expect the whole world to change because you can't be with something. It's just like, so...
It's like me would be, it's like I would get offended because they get offended. Like, I'm so fed up with all this offendedness that I can choose to get offended. Like, stop being offended. I'm going to be offended because you're offended.
Yeah. Just never ending.
I can choose. I could totally choose. Yeah, it's just drama.
Yeah.
It's just drama. Often I feel offended.
So for people that are coming to our trainings, you can be assured nobody's going to get offended. And you can be yourself. You can express anything that's inside you. You can express all the suppressed things that you've suppressed since your childbirth, since your childhood. You can say things that you cannot say anywhere else because people would be offended or you will get arrested. You can really say anything you need to say. You can express everything that is inside you.
Within certain frames, of course. So it's not like spewing things all over the place.
That's what we said. There is no finger pointing and blaming, but you can just express. That's the first rule of healing, of transformation, is I need to be able to speak my mind, because then we can actually know what's going on inside you, what you're harboring, what your armor is made of, and then we can help you transform it, transmute it. But the first thing is you have to be able to express. Because if you don't feel free to express, how on earth are you going to transform anything? You cannot. So this is, I feel, is like, this is why the Dearmouring is so potent, is because there is this allowance to express, allowance to be human, to express the color of humanity, like the multicolor and rainbow of all the emotions, all the dynamics, What?
Getting wild, like your eyes are rolling and you're
I'm just really
What are you busy with, Sana?
I'm busy because I wanted to read a piece. I wrote the text.
All right.
Just with, and we're talking about the dearmouring and the transformation and what we actually stand for. I mean, it can sound like we're sitting here, three people kind of complaining, but that's not the point. Like
No.
we really stand for the highest potential in each and every one as much as we can help people. Yeah. So I just want to read a piece that I wrote. Like I wrote a post about the dearmouring and I choose like some lines here. So we, the pioneers at the frontier of self-discovery, are no strangers to the shadows of fear and skepticism. It's a part of our journey. But let me share with you a heartfelt and earnest piece of advice. Stand firm in your beliefs. True change does not flourish in the comfort of stagnation. You cannot foster growth by catering to the limitations others impose. Our role is to anchor the vision of what's possible to illuminate the path to greatness, even when it feels like a thankless endeavor. Transformation often means offering what is needed, not what is desired, and facing the brunt of dissatisfaction.
Yep.
However, if you are genuinely committed to the process of transformation, you must learn to embrace discomfort, to champion the inherent greatness in others over their fears. Pursue the steps that resonate with your core, that echo with authenticity. Silence the clamor of external voices. Just a few more lines. Dearmouring represents more than a practice. It is a journey of life, spirit, and unwavering resolve. It's about stripping away the layers to reveal the essence of love, not through conformity or political correctness, but through the purity of being. So we invite you to ponder deeply. How ready are you to advocate for what truly matters to you? And consider the cost of not doing so.
Yeah, beautiful. That's it. Bang. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I feel really that is the essence and why we're doing this. It's like, it's a purge. Like it's the purge of the repressed collective, you know, it's a purge of the human, like ugliness of the human mind, but without labeling it as ugly. Like we just don't allow it because we label it as ugly. Like just let it fucking come, liberate.
I mean, this is the thing. Like when I hear this, when I listen to it's all about fear. Like the whole society, the whole human population is being controlled by someone or something, but it's fear that does it. Fear is the mechanism that holds us in this lock. Yeah. And all we have to do is individually pop like popcorn and suddenly realize, why am I listening to this shit? Why am I actually following when my heart knows something else? Why do I pretend not to know the truth when I do know the truth? I just need to have the balls to actually stand up and say, actually, no to this, no to that, and yes to this. It's so simple. It's a choice. So I love it.
What I really love about this kind of dynamics that we're just like creating and building is that this training is this pressure cooker of transformation. And then people ask always just like, how is it going when I'm taking that home and when I'm getting out? And how is it when I'm on my own and being in life? And that's the beauty about this kind of community that we're building, and that the community can actually create amongst each other connection, and that they're reaching out to each other. It's not we are the teacher running the show and telling what to. It's just like, no, they reaching out and practicing with each other. And so this aspect of connection and peers that is being created, I really love that part.
This is it. The community that is growing out of this. This is the juice that I also see recently. The people are actually beginning to engage with each other as a community, and because there's so many by now that did the trainings and not just our trainings but the Dearmourings in general, the people are actually more and more popcorns are kind of being pop, you know, waking up and choosing to interact with each other, choosing to just help each other create a world that we want to create.
So
having said all of that, shall we come back to like a little bit, keeping the time?
Time, yeah.
Yeah. So the training is happening 4th to 14th of April. It's happening in Sweden in a most amazing, delicious mansion that you yesterday went to visit and did video recordings. Everybody can see it online by now. So the space is set. The group is massive and growing. Not massive, but big and growing and mature. So basically, we're inviting another how many? Few people.
Yeah, we have like 4 slots left.
Yeah, but mostly, at least for me, mostly I feel like just sharing this message with people so that for the next training and the next training, people actually come and consider this possibility, consider the possibility of being part of this rising movement, the Dearmouring lifestyle in Europe movement. So do come to the training, do come get in touch, write us an email, have a one-to-one conversation with us, find out if it's for you and ifs and buts and concerns, and talk to us. Let's see if this can work for you as much as it works for us. I don't know
So
if
you can email to, yes, to all of that it's 4 slots left, and I'm sure somebody's going to listen to this way after the training, but there is more. You can always find us on www.dearmoringarts.com or write an email to info@dearmoringarts.com or find one of us, Susanna Beatrice, Dian Matuka, or Matt Schwentek, and speak with us.
And my kind of gift contribution in this training, what I would like to start with is with a consent-informed certification that practitioner can use in their life.
That's good. So now they get a certification from Somatic Consent, and they get a certification from the Dearmouring Arts for attending the training. So that's great. Thank you, Matt.
You can create a new certificate. I think it's time to like an adult or a live. When they attend, they definitely get initiated into proper adulthood.
Stamped like I'm an adult,
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey.
All right.
Well, lovely guys. I am so happy to have shared this moment with you. Thank you for being in my life and for holding this wonderful space together. Yeah, it's very precious.
Great. Big hug.
Big hug.
Yeah. Au revoir. Come and join us, everyone. Come and join us.
Ciao, ciao.